Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Remember, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another Habs Daily News with your hockey coach guru, Coach Frenchy. Today, episode number 129. What do you have on the menu, Coach? Yes, we have a lot. First of all, we're going to talk about the main camp start today. Then we're going to talk about the synergy between the Laval and the Montreal Canadiens. And finally, I'm going to talk about a little bit about MATTIAS NORLINDER. And at the end, I'm going to talk about the NHL news today. So don't go nowhere. But before you start, you know what's going on. You know what's happening. Of course, you have to click on the likes. Of course, you have to sharing this video. Of course, you have to subscribe. And finally, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about the episode number 129. Let's dive in talking about the first subject of the day. My first subject of the day, guys, is about the creating synergy and Montreal and Laval Rocket. Why? Because now the Montreal is on the way to rebuilding. They have a lot of prospects are going to play with Laval Rocket. And I feel it's a time right now they have the same kind of system, the same kind of development from the top to the bottom. So they talk the same language when they talk to any player. So example, if ever like Jordan Harris play with Montreal Canadiens, Robidas, Martin Saint-Louis, talk to him. If ever he returning to Laval Rocket, he want to be sure GF Hull or his assistant coach in Laval talk the same way about how to play for the Montreal Canadiens. And I think for me, it's really important to have a great relationship between Hull and St. Louis. To be sure, they talk the same way. It's really important when you build a kind of rebuilding with many prospects. You don't have to have a one way to the top of the team and another way at the bottom. I believe now is a time for the same organization, but both teams talk the same way. Maybe you did not pay attention about this, and I was surprised when I heard this today. Scott Pellerin got hired by the Montreal Canadiens a couple of days ago, and he became another assistant coach, development players for the Montreal Canadiens. What is the relation? But first of all, Scott Pellerin worked many years with Stéphane Robidas as an assistant coach, player development with the Maple Leaf from 14 to 21. So honestly, Robidas was his boss. Last year, he left the Toronto Maple Leaf, became a scout for the Arizona Coyotes. And what we heard is now Scott Pellerin work with the Montreal Canadiens. Another one with Adam Nicholson, François Bouillon, Rob Ramage. It does not including Vincent Lecavalier, Marie-Philippe Poulin. Only those are only about the development players. So that gives you an idea what the Montreal completely changed the way to build the Montreal, the Habs, and that foundation with a lot of staff around the players. So remember when I said a couple of months ago, we're now at 129 episode, the toolbox of Montreal Canadiens, Saint Bergerin left, is getting bigger and bigger. Why? Because you have a lot more tools in the toolbox. So the players are access to develop properly and better, stronger every single day because they have the right tools inside the toolbox. Because we talk about system development, assistant coaches development now, I want to mention about a players. I'm really curious. It's MATTIAS NORLINDER. We saw him last weekend. He played 2 games. We see the good side, the bad side of Norlinder. Draft by the Montreal Canadiens, if you follow him for the last couple of years, he's really talented, his skill on the offensive side. He have a great vision. His pass is always tape to tape. He's great when he go on the transition, and he's excellent on power play. He can pass the puck, and he can shoot the puck, rip the puck to the net. That's where he is really excellent. Where he need to get better is really now on the defensive zone coverage. He said yesterday, I need to get more stronger and more physical if I want to stay in NHL. It's not easy for me to carry on that kind of game. I need to learn and develop better. And I think he's really honest when he said that about himself. Another thing we got as an information about him is honestly, some coaches said he play on the zigzag. So when he carry on the puck, he go from the one area to another area, and he doesn't go straight line. When they talk about stay on the straight line, they talk about play inside the dots. We teach this as a coach to the players because sometimes when you get out of the dot is you open up more space for the players to go around. And when you go inside the dot, again, a 2-1, whatever it is, you give better possibility for other opponent team to score a goal. What they try to teaching him is not go all around the place, but stay on the straight line and play inside the dot and the defensive zones. We'll be interested to develop NORLINDER. But another thing I want to mention to you about NORLINDER is he have a clause now. If he does not make the team for the Montreal Canadiens, he can return, play for Finland next season. So anyhow, I just want to share with you my opinion and observation about Mattias NORLINDER. Let's move on now, guys, for the next subject of the day. Here we go, guys. We want to talk for the second subject of the day is about the main cam. When you're going to watching this video, when you're going to be released, the Montreal Canadiens are right now on the physical testing all day for the each player, and they're going to be on the ice Thursday, September 22nd. But I want to talk a little bit more about my 4 storyline I'm looking for to watch for this main camp for the Montreal Canadiens. And I divide this on different ways. First of all, the veterans. I think for me, I'm going to look about Jonathan Drouin, Brendan Gallagher, and Mike Hoffman. We know Hoffman did not play well last season, did not play at the expectation what the Montreal was looking for when they signed him for a contract of 3 years at $4.5 million. On the flip side, Brendan Gallagher got injured twice, and he have only 7 goals. He know already himself he did not play well, and he's ready to rock and roll for the upcoming season. Jonathan Drouin, another player, changed the number 92 to 27. He feel like he's 100% recovery for his injury. And now he's ready. The upcoming year will be 3 veterans I want to watch during the main camp. First of all, where they look like. Secondly, who play with and which line they are. I know at the beginning it's not going to be really give me more information about which line they're going to play. But when at the end of the main camp, where we're going to figure out is Gallagher, Drouin, and Hoffman are at the bottom 6, or one of them, or 2 of them, or all of them are top 6. Something I'm going to follow up. That's one of my storyline to main camp. The second one I want to talk about is the new arrival players. So we have 3 players I really pay a little bit more attention. First, the Kirby Dach. We know he got traded for Romanov in the 13th round pick, first round. For me, is really what I'm looking for this camp. But what it looked like with the Montreal Canadiens under Martin St. Louis. The second player I'm talking about is Sean Monahan. We know Montreal Canadiens make a trade with a first round pick from the Calgary Flame to get Sean Monahan. We know Monahan have a couple of problems with some injuries for the last 2-3 years. We know he scored over 4 seasons with 30 goals. We know what he's capable to do. But now, can he do it again? That's the biggest question. And we'll see what he look like at the main camp with the Montreal Canadiens if both hips are responding properly for him to be back in the NHL for the upcoming season. Then the last one is Mike Madison. Madison got traded against Jeff Petrie and Ryan Poland. Madison is 28 years old, have a good year last season with the Pittsburgh Penguins with 11 goals. So he's another one player, the left defenseman. I don't know if he's going to be first pairing, second pairing, but it's a player I still believe he can have another notch of his game if he's developed properly under Martin St. Louis. It's the 3 new arrival players I'm looking for this main camp. The third one, guys, is my eyes on the youth prospect Montreal Canadiens. We have a lot at the camp, the Owen Beck, Philippe Mézard, Slavkovsky, and I can go all the way that list. But for me, is a defenseman I'm looking for, really. I'm going to watch the Caden Coley, the Jordan Harris, the Justin Barron. Barron did not do well at the camp like Slavkovsky as a rookie. I'm not worried about this, but I want to see if he's going to elevate his game. Then the William Trudeau. The Arbor Jackeye is another one I'm looking for to watch of. This is my another storyline. Finally, my last storyline is going to be, guys, today, the concept, the development, and the future. What are you talking about? Remember, when Martin St. Louis showed up last year, he talked about build a concept. It's all about the concept. And he really focusing on the small area. He create a lot of drills during the practice with small area. I want to see his concept during the main camp, how he run this first time with the Montreal Canadiens, his first, honestly, main camp now as the head coach, how he run this main camp. So it'll be really interesting. Pay attention and watch how he's going to controlling his concept and show this to the players for the Montreal Canadiens. Remember, earlier I talked about the synergy between Laval and the Montreal Canadiens, and that's one thing what I want to be sure they talked about the same concept from the top to the bottom. The second thing is about development. I want to see how they're going to develop them, not only at the main camp, but after that. So it's another big things for the Montreal Canadiens, how they're going to develop their prospect. Finally, this is the future. For me, it's really important the player understand the concept, what they want the player to become by the transition to the development by the coaches they have, and then that will give them to reach the full potential of each one of them. And that's what I said, this is the bright future for the Montreal Canadiens. Once they understand the concept, now it's the time for all the personnel of the assistant coaching development to develop the players properly, and they give them all the tools to give the full potential for them to reach the max of the talent and skill. Then after that, it's why I said this is the way to the future for the Montreal Canadiens. So guys, this is my last subject about the Montreal Canadiens. Let's finishing this episode about the NHL news around the league today. But first of all, before we jump on the first subject of the NHL news today, we already know 3 players retired yesterday. Zdeno Chara, PK Subban, and Keith Yandel. All 3 decide at the same day to retire as a hockey professional players. I create videos on the YouTube channel we have. Look, search, and find a way. And I think it can give you a really good understanding what is my opinion about each one of them. They have an impact different way when they play in NHL. The first news I want to talk about is Nathan MacKinnon for the Colorado Avalanche got his extension of 8 years at $12.6 million. We know what he did last season with the Colorado Avalanche. Maybe one of the best players in NHL. Look, he become now with this contract the highest payroll players in NHL. A little bit over Connor McDavid. MacKinnon with Lestagog and Makar are really the 3 pillars of that team. And we know Lestagog signed a contract last year with the Colorado Avalanche. So MacKinnon was just a question of time to get that extension. And now he got it. And he become, like I said, the highest player pay in NHL. The next one I want to talk about, guys, is from Arizona Coyotes. They signed Barrett Hayton, the RFA, for a 2-year contract. We know the Coyotes never mentioned the amount of their contract AAV, but Hayton played from Arizona last season, have a really not a bad year, to be honest with you. First of all, you know, he's a 5th overall pick by the Coyotes in 2018 in NHL draft. Last season in 16 games, he has 10 goals, 14 assists for 24 points. He's another young player for the Arizona Coyotes, but it's great to hear today he got a contract of 2 years with the Coyotes. Finally, the last news of the day, guys, I'm talking about the St. Louis Blues. This is another bad news for them. Their defenseman, Marco Scandella, is out for the season with a hip surgery he got 2 days ago. This another player with another problem with injury. He's not the first one with the hip problem. We know Brett Marchand just got one. Nicholas Backstrom got another one with this kind of injuries. It's not easy to come back, honestly, and at 32 years old, is going to be a little bit longer, I believe, for Marco Scandella. Complete, guys, all the news we have around the NHL. Here we go, guys. This complete another episode of the Habs Daily News with your hockey coach, your coach Frenchy, episode number 129. Please, before we leave, we want to invite you. Don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the Hockey Nation Live Show. Leave me a comments about this episode. Tell me what you think about all my subject. And finally, of course, you have greatness inside of you. Have an amazing, great, blessing day, everybody.